minus y is equal to 6.
It's party time every day at 4:30 p.m. Feel the music. Try out your favorite dance strokes. Watch the latest music videos from artists around the world as you dance to the beat.
Girl, you got body language saying whatever.
Only on the beat, Monday to Friday on NTV, your official groove station.
I'm knocking. The message yali ku the last piece of a jambie yali muhadi wa yonna.
No, bloody way, holy moly.
We've just met, how can I be your friend? Hey, Mr. Rashmond. Okuzimba nyumba nga kintu kizibu nnyo banange mugumire mu bupangisa. Come.
I'm called Olar Odon. There's no English name. Just like resistance, Yakazol.
I blame you. You have option of getting international husband. Why do you get it?
Good time.
Sing. I'll roll up. Put it down on me. Fire flame, spill.
G6 like a G6.
I think I'm Big Meech.
I don't see nobody.
It's the cataract.
Lucini pouring from the sky, let's get rich, what? You can see a man's face, but you can't see his heart. I am Wale, Oluba. We be in the party like we own that bar.
Tease me, baby.
To be honest, it's one of the most scary genres of music for me. For me every day.
This is
NTV Akawungeezi nkwaniriza nnyo munaffe olwaleero lwakusatu omwezi tukyali mu Kasambula oba Julaayi naye nga tumutwaliriza kadde ka mawulire mu lulimi Oluganda nga nzize n'amangi nnyo ddala omuli ag'ennaku amanyuvu n'amalala nga geewuunyisa. Katutandike n'emitwe emikulu egigalimu. Entiisa ebbanda abantu basatu bakubiddwa ne basuulibwa mu nsiko, omu afudde, abalala batwaliddwa nga bataawa. Tujja kubasiba. Ekitongole ekiramuzi kirabudde abasirikale ba poliisi abalemedde ku woofiisi z'ettaka mu Kampala. Obuvuyo mu kulonda, Museveni alabudde abatabangula okulonda, avumiridde ebyabakanyama. Ne mu byemizannyo, liigi y'ababinywera, FUFA ne Uganda Super League bakkiriza etandike mu Septemba. NTV Akawungeezi nyongedde okwaniriza. Nze Hatmana Lugwa Sekaya. Gavumenti esabye Parliament eyise district endala empya 23. Minisita wa gavumenti ez'ebitundu Adolf Mwesige yaleese olukalala lwa district empya mu Parliament akawungeezi ka leero. Singa zino ziyisibwa, kino kitegeeza nti district zijja kuba ziweze 135. Jingo Francis katubulira ebisingawo.
Minisita wa gavumenti ez'ebitundu Adolf Mwesige aludde dda kinakkakkanya ababadde bamubanja district President Museveni z'asuubiza abantu. Aleese olukalala mu Parliament lwa district 23 ziyisibwe Parliament akawungeezi ka leero. Kagadi district ne Kakumiro zino nga zikutuddwa ku district y'e Kibale era nga zigenda kutandika ku mwaka gw'ebyensimbi guno. Endala kuliko Omoro ekutuddwa ku Ggulu, Namisindwa eno ng'ekutuddwa ku Manafa, Pakwaki eno ng'ekutuddwa ku Nebi, Butebo eno ng'ekutuddwa ku Palisa, Lukiga ne Lubanda zino nga zikutuddwa ku Kabale, Kyotera ekutuddwa ku Lakayi. Zino zonna nga zigenda kutandika mu mwaka gw'ebyensimbi 2013. Kyaddondo ekutuddwa ku Wakiso, Nabiratuuku ekutuddwa ku Nakapiripiriti, Bugweri ekutuddwa ku Iganga, Kasanda ekutuddwa ku Mubende, Bunyangabo ekutuddwa ku Kabalole, Kwaniya ekutuddwa ku Apachi ne Kapera Byongo ekutuddwa ku Amulia. Zino nga zigenda kutandika mu mwaka 2014. Obongi ekutuddwa ku Moyo, Kazo ekutuddwa ku Kihuruhura, Rwampala ekutuddwa ku Mbalala, Kitagwenda ekutuddwa ku Kamwenge, Kikube ekutuddwa ku Hoima, Madyokolo ekutuddwa ku Arua ne Kihihi ekutuddwa ku Kanongo.
Kimazira kuwedomora kigenda kumara a week emu omukomiti ya local government akuba speaker ni kwaragiri baitu amananu gali hakiziga ensorero mutekane hati buli nkabagambira baitu hati kusaba mutekane mukwatiriro kintu kikutambura.
Bana Kagadi batandika kusaba district enu na tata wange kitanga tanaba kugende Kagadi.
Speaker Olanya alagidde akakiiko akakola ku gavumenti ez'ebitundu okuzitunulamu era nga 26 omwezi guno bakola alipoota eri paalamenti ziyisibwe. Singa ziyisibwa paalamenti, disitulikiti zijja kuba ziweze 135 okuva ku 12.
Two districts which will start 1st July this year, their money is in the budget. You can read the budget, the money is there.
Paalamenti eno erimu ababaka 375. Kino kitegeeza nti okwongera ku districti kigenda kwongeza ku muwendo gw'ababaka ba paalamenti 398.
Look at Kenya. Kenya has a bigger population than us. Look at the size of their parliament. Their size of parliament is half that of Uganda. And yet the economy of Kenya is much wider than ours.
Government erina sente anakulimbye ngo government erina sente. Basajja baraba billion obumbi 102 yabujawa.
Minisitiri ategeeza nti bakyebuuza kukutula mu distrikiti y'e Kasese batondeyo Bwera ne Rwenzori. Jingo Francis, NTV Akawungeezi.
Poliisi etegeezezza nga bw'etagenda kuseguka kuva ku ofiisi z'ebyettaka wano mu Kampala wadde nga kkooti yayisizza ekiragiro ofiisi zino ziggulwe. Poliisi egamba nti n'okutuusa kati ekyaliko byenoonyereza mu ofiisi zino nga n'olwekyo si baakuvaawo kati. Wabula ayogerera ekitongole ekiramuzi Erias Kisawuzi agambye nti kuno kuba kunyoomola kkooti nti era bano boolekedde okussibwa emyezi 6 singa tebagondera biragiro bino.
Ku ntandikwa ya Sabbiiti eno, olukiiko lwa Lukwago wamu ne kkooti etaputa amateeka baayisa ekiragiro ky'okugulawo ofiisi z'akakiiko k'ebyettaka era abakulu bano bessa mu ddene ne bagenda ne baggulawo ofiisi zino. Kyokka mangu ddala poliisi yayitibwa n'eddamu n'eziwamba. Olwaleero poliisi etegeezezza nti bakyalina bye banoonyereza mu ofiisi zino era si yakuvaawo okutuusa ng'emaliriza ogwayo.
Wakyalimu obujulizi obuli mu ofiisi eyo era waliwo fayiro zetulondola paka nga tumaze process eyo ezo office zino okubanga zikuumibwa poliisi.
Omwogezi w'ekitongole ekiramuzi Erias Kisawuzi agambye nti abantu bonna abali emabega w'okunyoomola ekiragiro kya kkooti boolekedde okwezaalira akalimu obuwuka.
Balina okugondera ekiragiro ekyo oba bakyagala oba tebakyagala kubanga ebiyinza okuddawo amateeka go gegalamula.
Kisawuzi era agambye nti ekiragiro kya kkooti tekiriiko kuwakanya era woofiisi zino zirina okuggulwawo bunnambiro.
Omuntu yenna anyoomoola ekiragiro kya kkooti amateeka gakkiriza omuntu oyo akukwatibwa ayinza n'okubeera nga twalibwa ku mmeere n'aweebwa ekibonerezo okusibwa obusibe nga tebusukka myezi 6.
Wabula abakulu mu KCCA bagamba nti baagala okumanya ani ali emabega w'emivuyo gino egy'okulemesa akakiiko k'ebyettaka okukola emirimu gyako.
Ani atuma abapoliisi? Ani complainant? Era oyo yemulugunya ku nsonga ki? Tubadde nga tulaba emirundi egisinga bwe babeera nga bagenda kubuuliriza ku muntu, omuntu oyo bamusaba n'ava mu ofiisi era abanoonyereza bajja ne bajjamu ekyo kye beetaaga. era tusaba omukulu Kale Kayihura ave yatunyonyole kakati poliisi yetambuza ekitongole kya KCCA
wabula dwo oludda olukulemberwa Nankulu Musisi luganya okubaako ne kyerunyega nga bagamba nti ensonga zino za poliisi. Dini Lubowa Sava, NTV Akawungeezi.
Omuntu omu asangiddwa ng'afudde n'abalala babiri nga bataawa wali ebbanda okumpi ne Nakawa. Bano kigambibwa nti bakubiddwa bubi nnyo mu kiro ekikeesezza olwaleero ne basuulibwa mu nsiko abayise gye babasanze naye nga wabadde wayiseewo akabanga kuba bwe basuuliddwa obwedda abantu bayitawo buyisi nga tewali amanyi nti we bali. Poliisi omulambo egututte mu ggwanika ate bba abali obubi batwaliddwa mu ddwaliro e Mulago. Abasajja bano amanya gaabwe gabadde tegannamanyika.
Ekijja abantu enviiri ku mutwe kwe kubanga abasajja bano abasatu babadde kumpi nnyo nabo naye nga tebakimanyi. Bano wano babaddewo okuva akawungeezi k'eggulu okutuuka akawungeezi ka leero lwe bazuuliddwa ng'omu yattiddwa so nga abalala babiri bali mu bulumi olw'okkubwa.
Tubatte mu lwaliro for treatment. Kati omu yafudde naye abaserikale bange babazze bano basaidi basanze nga bamumanyi abadde ng'ateerako okukola emisango n'omusiba ku poliisi ate tumusanze ekipapula ekyeruzira abadde bakamulizinga ng'amaze sentensi.
Nze ndabye kuwawali wali yagambye yabadde wa boda sima bamujje kireka bwe yatuuse awo yagamba yakomye okumanya nga ali awo nti yabadde n'omusaabaze kati omusaabaze ne bamubuuza omusaabaze ati yalaze wanti omusaabaze simanyi tumubuuza ati oli ali ekyengulu ng'agamba nti oba ayinza okuba yeye.
Ensiitaane neraga nti wabaddewo okulwanagana kw'amaanyi. Ekyeraliikiriza abatuuze bano kiri nti kati ekifo kino kifuuse kattiro era ng'abasinga batta abantu ne bakweka wano kyokka ng'ate kiri kumpi ne poliisi n'oluguudo. Ekirala ekyewuunyisizza kwe kulaba nti abantu n'emmotoka wano we zeetawulira buli ssaawa era ku kalongooti kano k'olengera poliisi weebeera. Abatuuze mu kitundu kino bagamba nti engeri abantu abaali bakolera mu bitundu bino gye baalikiraawo obukubo bubadde tebukyayitwamu. Abantu balangidde poliisi obutabawa bukuumi bumala.
Fa batutta nnyo batta nnyo abantu
olw'ensonga abantu wano tewayita myezi 2 nga tewafudde muntu. Kintu ekyo kitwenyamiza nnyo. Poliisi yandipaakinze nga awali enzikiza kifo ky'okupaakinga mu masannyalaze. Security right yiyo giraba tekola bintu byafadda.
Abamu bagambye singa wano wateekebwawo enkulaakulana osanga ebintu nga bino binaggwawo. Florence Nalimba, NTV Akawungeezi.
Kitalo nnyo. Omukulembeze w'eggwanga Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ayambalidde poliisi n'abakakiiko k'ebyokulonda okubanga ne gye buli eno bakyabembeekereza abantu ko ne bannabyabufuzi abakola effujjo naddala mu biseera ebyokulonda. Museveni ategeezezza nti ebikolwa nga bino byali byadda tagenda kusobola kuddamu kubigumiikiriza era alagidde akakiiko k'ebyokulonda okukomya okuttira ku muntu yenna eriiso eyenyigira mu kukola effujjo.
Intimidation, lies. I see it when we are involved in some of these elections, which must be fought ruthlessly by the authorities concerned, the police.
Museveni agamba nti ebikolwa by'effujjo tebitandise kati nga byaliwo ne mu biseera ng'eggwanga terinafuna bwetwaze nga kati abantu batandise okubizza. Kinajjukirwa nti mu kulonda okwa Bukoto South okwakaggwa waliwo abantu abaakalakala n'emiggo n'emmundu nga beeyita bakanyama ne batuuka n'okukuba abantu.
You find people transporting groups from Kampala to go and go in the rural constituency. To do what? What job do you have there? And the election commission allowed this one to go on. They are called Kanyama. They are called Kanyama.
Museveni okuvumirira ebikolwa eby'effujjo abadde ku mukolo ogwabadde ogw'okutongoza okusonda ssente z'okuzimba ennyumba y'ekibiina kya NRM akawungeezi k'eggulo wano ku Serena Hotel mu Kampala. Ennyumba eno Museveni gye yawa erinnya erya Masindi House yakuwemmenta obumbi bwa siringi za Uganda obusoba mu 30 nga zonna zaakuba mu bawagizi b'ekibiina bammemba ko n'emikwano.
So we therefore decided that we start by constructing a movement house which will generate income for the party.
Of the NRM Finance Commission, we are starting with 50 million.
ku mukolo guno banna NRM beetemye obulindo n'obulindo bwa ssente era gwagenze okuggwa nga wasondeddwawo obuwumbi 2 bulamba naye nga si zaabuliwo.
5 million. Mr. and Mrs. Chibamanya, 1 million.
I will contribute 200 million shillings.
Ekizimbe kino kyakubeerako emyaliriro 7 okujjukira abantu 27 abatandika olutalo olwaleeta gavumenti mu buyinza.
Abasiraamu wonna mu ggwanga bakubiriziddwa okutunula ennyo enkaliriza okulaba omwezi ku lunaku olwokuna era singa bagulaba olw'okusiiba kutandike ku lwokutaano wabula singa tegulabika olunaku olw'enkya okusiiba kujja kuba kwa kutandika ku lwamukaaga. Nsereko Mutumba avunaanyizibwa ku by'amawulire ku kitebe ky'obusiraamu e Kampala mukadde akalaatidde abasiraamu bonna okweyisa obulungi mu mwezi ogwo omutukuvu.
Kanso Sheikh Hussein Rajabu Kakooza abasabye okutunula ku ggulu ku lunaku olwokuna omwezi bwe gunaaba tegulabise ku lunaku olwokuna okusiba kitegeeza nti kujja kubeerawo awatali kuwannaanya ku lunaku olw'omukaaga. Asabye abasiibi bonna nga twetegekera ekisiibo okuba nti tusiiba nga obusiraamu bugamba tusiibise ebiyungo byaffe byonna olulimi, amaaso, amatu, ebigere. Abakubiriza okuba ab'ekisa ennyo naddala okusaddaaka ennyo mu mwezi gwa Ramadan. Ate munajjukira nti omwezi guno Qur'ani mweyakkira n'olwekyo Qur'ani eteeka okusoma ennyo. Ku lw'ensonga eyo akubiriza bayimaamu bonna n'abakulu b'amatwale ne ba disquadis okulaba nti mutegeka emisomo.
Inshallah era awamu n'ekyo katuwummulemuko katono tukomaawo n'ekitundu ekyokubiri nga mulimu amawulire amalala mangi gano nago togasubwa. Obuseegu emitiyana, omuvubuka akutte enkoko, poliisi emukutte. Kalisoliiso mu Lyagonja asabye aweebwe omumyuka ow'okubiri asobole okukola emirimu gye obulungi.
This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV.
Ideally, we all have the right to express our opinions and views truthfully and openly.
Ate leero tugenda Katongole Mbukasam.
Kampala bwerere! Mwansomu! The bus!
The discussion is still going on in the bus. Tulina okugumira challenges ezimu bwe tuba tulina okugoba abatembeeyi. Mwami Lukwago agumaga abatembeeyi mugende. Never! No! Mbadde njagala kunyonyola omukulu. Mbadde njagala kunyonyola omwami yagambye nti Meya Lukwago ye meya omutuufu.
Ideally, we all have the
Join Cats and the Platinum DJs as they play skills and crazy video mixes.
You're now rocking with the best. Catch us every Saturday as we live. We'll take you through an experience you'll never forget.
Remember to call in with your music requests and also get a chance to win some incredible goodies. That's every Saturday from 1:30 p.m. only on NTV, the station that digs your music.
You done make me fall in love. Second time round.
Live, Chichi.
What's life?
Is life ugly?
Is it spiritual?
Isn't it loved?
And above all, isn't life really drama?
Find out what life is and what it can be every Thursday at 11 p.m. with repeats on Friday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m.
No one feels the motherland like we do. So tune in every day at 6 p.m. and Fridays from 11 p.m. for the best in homegrown music. Only on NTV, the station that celebrates local music talent.
And forever, he does not change.
Okyali ku NTV Akawungeezi. Emitiyana omuvubuka akawangamudde bwakakanye ku nkoko n'agisobyako okutuusa lwefudde. Omuvubuka ono w'emyaka 17 akkiriza nti ekive kino yakikoze naye neyewozaako nti alina ekimutemba ne kimuwaliriza okwebagajja ebisolo n'ebinyonyi. Ono awuniikiriza poliisi era bw'etyo n'emuggalira agenda abibuulire omulamuzi mu bujjuvu. Mu kitundu kye kimu kino eky'Emitiyana omukazi abadde atuntuza omwana naye poliisi emuggalidde. Bino byonna kayo tubikuwe mu bujjuvu.
Muhammad Mwanje w'okukyalo bamunaanika tatidde kwatulira bamukutte nti ddala yakutte enkoko ye. Mwanje akkiriza nti guno si gwe mulundi ogusoose okukola kino era nti emabegako yakwatako n'embuzi.
Ekintu kinenya ku mutwe ekinsumbuwa nekinkozesa gyesaagala.
Aludde ng'akwata enkoko naye nga tetukimanyi nti azikwata kubanga abatuuze babadde bajja bemulugunya enkoko zaabwe basanga zifudde nga zivuddeyo ebyenda wali awayita eggi kale tulowooza nti oba waliwo obulwadde obuzze mu kitundu.
Okukwatibwa kwe kiddiridde enkoko eziwerako ku kyalo okufa mu ngeri eyeewuunyisa era ng'enkoko zonna zaakutte zibadde zibiika.
Waliwo omukyala gy'abadde akola ng'akuba bulooka yajja n'antemyako n'angamba enkoko yange efudde naye nsuubira okuba ng'omuvubuka ono agikozesa iki agikozesezza ne tumuleka ne tugenda nga tumulondoola mpola mpola okutuusa eggulo lwe yalekeddwa awaka ne tusanga nga era enkoko efudde ng'era efulumyeyo ekyenda. Kati bwe tumukutte ne tumubuuza n'atugamba nti yagikozesezza.
Waliwo gye nagenda nenfuna eddagala lye mbadde nkozesaako era oli yaŋŋambye nti nno bwe naaba ndikozeseza ngenda kolaki ngenda kuwona.
Poliisi emuggalidde olw'okutulugunya eddembe ly'ebisolo.
Olina omutima mukazi gwe osaana
ku poliisi y'emu omukazi Anet Nalumansi ow'emyaka 3 aggaliddwa olw'okutulugunya omwana wa muganda we. Omwana ono ow'emyaka 5 kigambibwa nti ali ku ddagala eriweweeza akawuka ka mukenenya naye nti olumu yagaana okulimira n'ajja Nalumansi mu mbeera.
Bwe yagaana okwasama nemukwata bwenti nnyo n'enjala namala nemunyiga n'amazzi agootya ataba azimu nali njagala musimu ntinuka mubagula nsimule wano nalinyiga we nayagula nga musimba njala kati nenjagala nkwate kali akadagala kasiimuula ne kamwokya.
Nnyina w'omwana ono yafa Nalumansi n'asaba abeere naye okusinziira ku balirwana nti abadde amukuba era ng'olumu amuggalira ne mu nnyumba.
Gwansinga nakozesa obukambwe bungi.
Mumuoza abasirikale bakambwe ekyokufumbira omusirikale kakati gwoli musirikale mumwekozekoze ebintu ebinva nga mugasa abasajja kabaka awangaale ate nga mumuwangaliza ku bikono bya busungu.
Alina enkwagulo ku mubiri gwonna era ng'azimbye ekiwaliriza poliisi okumutwala mu ddwaliro yeekebejjebwe nga nnyina omuto Nalumansi bw'akumibwa ku poliisi.
Kalisoliso wa gavumenti Irene Mulyagonja asabye bamufunire omumyuka w'okubiri ow'ekitongole kyakulembera olw'ekisobole okwemalira mu kooti. Mulyagonja agamba nti emirundi gyonna gye balina okutwala abali b'enguzi n'abakenuzi mu kooti baba bateekeddwa kusooka kuyitira wa ssaabawabi wa gavumenti n'abawa obuyinza. President Museveni okutuuka okufuula Mulyagonja kalisoliso wa gavumenti, kooti yali emaze okusalawo nti ekitongole tekisobola kuvunaana muntu nga tebalina ku musonyiwako katono. President Museveni okusalawo okufuula Mulyagonja kalisoliso wa gavumenti, kooti yali emaze okusalawo nti ekitongole tekisobola kuvunaana muntu yenna ng'abalina ng'abakikulira tebawera.
Kalisoliso wa Irene Mulyagonja agamba nti kyebaluubirira kwe kwetengera kw'ekitongole kya kalisoliso. Kino kisobola okubaawo singa omumyuka ow'okubiri afunibwa. Omumyuka wa kalisoliso asooka ye Rafael Baku.
Twandyagadde tubeere abantu abeetaagisibwa wano bonna babeerewo, tubeere ne IGG, tubeere ne badeputies babiri, tubeere tusobola okubyekolera. Bwe tuba twetaaga okugenda mu kkooti tugende nga tetuyise wa DPP.
Mulyagonja agamba nti emisango gy'enguzi, obukenuzi n'emirala egifaananako ng'egyo gye balina okukolako mingi, ate ekyongo ekitadde ku bbali n'abagizza beeyongera buli lunaku. Mulyagonja asabye bannayuganda nabo babeere bakalisoliiso mu bitundu gye babeera nga baloopa abo bonna abagula ebyobugagga ku ssente 1000 naye ng'enfuna yaabwe temanyiddwa oba ng'emanyiddwa naye nga ntono bw'ogeraageranya ne be bagula.
Batubuulire.
Mulyagonja ayagala paalamenti etandika okutunulangamu alipoota aba ofiisi ya kalisoliso ze bakola kubanga mu paalamenti gye balina okunnyonnyolera emirimu gyabwe.
Naye temumanyi bunene ki obw'emisango egireetebwa wano bwe tutwala mu kkooti. Kati twandyagadde kuba ripooti eyo yeeyogera ku kitongole kino bye kikoze mu mwaka. Eisappozi tukolebwa emirundi 2 mu mwaka.
Guno gwe mulundi ogusoose Mulyagonja okwogera eri abamawulire ku nsonga ezikwata ku ofiisi gye yakatandika okukulembera. Ejjinja agavaayo ga mbuzi esombodde abantu okuva e Bule n'Ebweya nga bagamba nti ezadde obubuzi 2 naye ng'akamu ku buno keefaananyirizaako omuntu. Bino bibadde ku kyalo Budumbuli e Bugembe mu kibuga Jjinja.
Abantu beesombodde nga beeyibwa mu maka ga mukyala Lydia Naabire ku kyalo Budumbuli ekisangibwa e Bugembe mu kibuga ky'Ejjinja. Bano bazze okwerolera ku mbuzi eyazadde ekikulekule. Embuzi eno yazadde abaana 2 ng'akamu kabuzi naye ng'akalala kikulekule ekyasamaaliriza ekyalo n'abalala ne batuuka n'okulinnya emiti okwerolera. Obwedda buli omu kyasanga kyayogera nga n'abamu bakakasiza ddala ng'ekikulekule kino bwe kifaanana omuntu.
Nyenzo kwa muntu amazima gye gali amatama ga muntu amaaso olususu byonna bya muntu emimwa gya muntu.
Omusawo w'ebisolo yayayitiddwa okuzaalisa embuzi eno oluvannyuma lw'okulemererwa okuzaala.
Ng'embuzi erikwenda kuzaala butiifa tena twagireko awo yaluma wezaire yalema nga terikola ki terisobola kuzaala.
NTV Akawungeezi. Mukadde kano tugendako mu katale k'ensimbi tulabe siringi ya Uganda nga bwekoze okusinziira ku ssente z'amawanga amalala.
Akatale k'ensimbi kakutuusibwako
URA Development. vehicles are required to revalidate their registration.
This is NTV.
Tukyagenda mu maaso ne NTV Akawungeezi. Tovaawo oluvannyuma lw'obubaka buno nkomawo n'agava mu nsiike y'ebyemizannyo.
This is NTV. This is NTV.
Your Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed. Join Cats and the Platinum DJs as they bring you some mad DJ skills and crazy video mixes.
You're now rocking with the best. Catch us every Saturday as we live. We take you through an experience you'll never forget.
Remember to call in with your Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed.
Ab'ekibiina ekiddukanya omuzannyo gw'omupiira mu ggwanga FUFA ne Uganda Super League abatalima kambugu olwaleero bakkiriziganyizza ku dirigi y'eggwanga lw'egenda okutandika. Liigi eno kati yakutandika ng'ennaku z'omwezi 14 mu mwezi gwa Septemba wadde nga mu kusooka kyali kisuubirwa nti yakutandika mu August. Wabula ttiimu ezigenda okwetaba mu mpaka zino zisabiddwa okulaba ng'ebisaawe omugenda okusambirwa emipiira biri ku mutindo ogwetaagisa.
Nga secretariat kati mulimo gwaffe tugenda kufulumya fixture mu kaseera katali kawala ng'etandika ng'ennaku 14 Septemba. Wabula waliwo bye tukanyizaako nti bye tulina kutuukiriza oba clubs ezirina kutuukiriza nga process ya licensing egenda kukolebwa nga tukikola wamu ne FUFA.
FUFA etegese omusomo okulaba nti bakochi bonna abali mu Super League ne Big League n'abo abakoachinga national teams eza Uganda zonna babeera mu musomo ogwa CAF license era nga bakochi bonna abalina okutendeka clubs zino bateeka okuba basomye omusomo guno oba seekyo nga balina UEFA license oba license yonna gye baba balina. So abanaaba nti tebasomye musomo guno bajja kuba n'obuzibu okuba nti bakoachinga tiimu zonna eziri mu Super League.
USL erina amateeka agagifuga. We tuba tusazeewo ku majority mu meeting ebeera position ya USL. Omu ku ffe aba takikkiriza ng'oyadda ku bbali. So bye twogera ku ssaawa eno bye bigambo bya USL ne ku sayidi eno bye boogera bye bigambo bya FUFA. So bye tuba tutwala ku ssaawa eno.
Timu ya Uganda Revenue Authority ewangudde omupiira gwayo ogwokubiri mu mpaka za Sekafa Kagame Cup eziyindire Tanzania bwekubya Vita eya Congo golo 3-1. Yo Simba eya Tanzania nayo ekubye Ports eya Djibouti ku golo 3 ku bwerere.
Timu ya Uganda Revenue Authority ekulembedde ekibinja mu mpaka za Sekafa Kagame Cup eziyindira wane Dar es Salaam mu Tanzania. Oluvannyuma lw'okuwangula Vita ya Congo golo 3-1. Vita yasoose okulabika ng'enewangula omupiira guno bwesubiddwa emikisa egiwerako mu kitundu ky'omuzannyo ekisooka. Mu kitundu ekyokubiri omuzannyi Mutombo Kazadi ateese Vita mu maaso bw'ateebye ggoolo mu ddakiika ey'enkaaga. Wabula mu ddakiika ey'enkaaga mu omukaaga Sura Baagala ateebye ey'ekyenkanyi. Elias Sekisambu abongedde ey'okubiri mu ddakiika y'e79. Gubadde gunaatera okuggwa Robert Sentongo naye n'abateebajjayo essuubi.
kiba kirungi bwe tuba tukulembedde ekibinja tujja kukwata ttiimu eyokusatu mu kibinja ekya C. So tusuubira nti awo tuba tusuubira nti ate obuzibu obusinga tunabufuna ku semi. So kyetusinga okwagala kwewala tetwagala abaana balowooze nti balungi nnyo edde wane Tanzania baba waana nti balungi.
buli ngeri obuwanguzi buno butegeeza nti ttiimu ya URA eyiseewo okwesogga oluzanyo lwa quarter finals mu mpaka za Sekafa omwaka guno era kati nga yakuzanya n'emu ku ttiimu eziri mu kibinja B omuli Yanga, Wausalam ne Atletico eya Burundi. Lwa NTV Akawungeezi wano ku Tanzania National Stadium, Dar es Salaam, ze Sam Poza.
Samo Mpoza akomekereza NTV Akawungeezi. Eddakiika ziri 3 mu zizo eziyise ku ssaawa emu kamba siibulirawo nze Hatimana Lugwa Sekaya tweyungeko ku ssaawa 3 mu NTV Tonight. Tusinkana olunaku olw'enkya weeraba.
This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV.
Your Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed. Join Cats and the Platinum DJs as they bring you Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed. Join Cats and the Platinum DJs as they bring you some mad DJ skills and crazy video mixes.
You're now rocking with the best. Catch us every Saturday as we live. We'll take you through an experience you'll never forget.
Remember to call in with your music requests and also get a chance to win some incredible goodies. That's every Saturday from 1:30 p.m. only on NTV, the station that digs your music. Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed. Join Cats and the Platinum DJs as they bring you some mad DJ skills and crazy video mixes.
You're now rocking with the best. Catch us every Saturday as we live. We'll take you through an experience you'll never forget.
Remember to call in with your music requests and also get a chance to win some incredible goodies.
This is NTV. This is NTV.
More discoveries from Professor, and this time we are determined not to be forgetting the utmost experience the district has to offer. Today, on Showcase Uganda, we embark on the trail of the formidable mountains of the moon. Last week, we introduced you to the kingdom of Renzori, which was born in 1880 and has over the years evolved and adapted to the unique and gorgeous environment of the mountains. Though the Banyuzuru have embraced urbanization, many facets of their traditional culture have stayed with them to date. One of these traditions is that of practicing healing rituals and herbal medication. Back in the days, when one The Omsinga Isaiah Mukerano instructed them to pray for the ill person first and then proceed with administering herbs. If one suffered a mental illness, a stick like this one would be waved around his head and later gently covered with forehead. So that the spirits can get out. It was believed that this helped rid the person of the spirit that caused his illness. Most of the herbs used by the traditional doctors are still found within the mountains.
The drugs we had, we started the medical
practice which speaks volumes about the Bakongo is the traditional dancing. Through music, dance, and drama, the Bakongo have been able to communicate their joys, fears, and concerns.
Courtship dance
is engaged by both men and women and is performed with a lot of custom. Of a witch in the village used to raise the concern of everyone as they believed that their lives were in danger. The way the Bakongo dealt with this threat and restored peace in the village can be demonstrated through this witch hunting dance. At all costs. The harvesting season is a time for all to rejoice and enjoy the fruits of their labor, and through dance the Bakongo celebrate and express their gratitude to the Almighty for all His bounty.
when Showcase Uganda returns its preparations, and we take you with us on the first leg of the trek up the mountains of the moon.
Daring enough to undertake climbing the Renzori ranges, your first point of reference will be the Renzori Mountaineering Services in Kasese Town. You can either get to Kasese by road, taxis and buses are available from the various terminals in the city, or you can get there by air. The Kasese Airfield was used as a base for the UN peacekeepers before they moved to a base in Congo, is still operational. More than a century after Stanley's discovery, the mountains of the moon still maintain an aura of mystery. Lying just north of the equator, the Renzori Mountains provide a natural barrier between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The mountains stretch some 80 miles long and are about 30 miles wide. Mountaineering is the sport, hobby, or profession of walking, hiking, trekking, and climbing. It began as an all-out attempt to reach the highest point of unclimbed mountains. It has branched into specializations addressing different aspects of the mountains. Renzori Mountaineering Services was set up to guide hikers all the way to the highest point in Uganda.
Renzori Mountaineering Services is both a company and an NGO, and it was started in 1997 by the local Bakoncho people who had worked as mountain guides and porters for some time long before and after Uganda's independence. They served under Mountain Clubs of Uganda, and when the Mountain Clubs of Uganda collapsed during the Amin's time, they continued receiving the tourists from wherever they are coming from and guiding them into the Renzori, organizing their trips and sending them back, but under no organized agency. It was until 1987 that they came together, 7 of them, and formed the Renzori Mountaineering Services. Basically on three major objectives, which I can also summarize into 2. One was to conserve the physical and biological mountain environment on which they had seen they survive and earn a livelihood. Then 2 was to promote tourism as a vehicle to community development. So when they formed themselves into that association, definitely they had challenges. One was to develop the tourist facilities in the Renzori. 2 was to improve on the services and skills of the porters and guides so that they match at international level or at regional level for that matter. And then 3 was to publicize the mountain.
After speaking to James and organizing our climb for the next day, we made final purchases of supplies which include fresh fruits and vegetables to take with us on the climb. Trekkers and hikers are advised to also pack glucose-based snacks such as Mars and Snickers bars, and to stock up on cakes, pastries, plus a variety of hot and cold drinks and high carbohydrate foods for the evening. Here, the weighing of luggage, allocation of porters and cooks is done. mountain guides are allocated at a ratio of 1 per 2 climbers, while there are 4 porters per person, carrying 12.5 kilograms each. This is made up of sleeping mattresses and all cooking and eating utensils needed for the climb. You also get to hire all the necessary gear to ensure maximum security during the climb. Next on the agenda is a briefing where the hikers are taken through the entire trail of the climb.
So the purpose of coming here, we are coming to discuss 2 things. One, to discuss the map board here, how we'll be moving from one place to another. So this village here is called Nyakaringija. It's at 1,649 meters above sea level. So we start walking from here. So from here to around here, there is a park gate, which will take you about 45 minutes walking. Then from the park gate, you come up to this river Mahoma. Okay? From the park gate of the first camp, will take you 4 to 5 hours walking.
Finally, we embark on the first leg of the climb, which will take about 5 to 7 hours to reach the first resting point. The hiking starts at an altitude of 3,400 feet above sea level, walking past Kilembe Mines water intake, through Bakonzo mud and water ponds, till we reach the park's main gate. This is the point at which we start the switchback trail, which will take us to the highest point in Uganda, Margarita Peak. But before we leave, some pep talk from our guide, and then we hit the trail.
As per today, we are supposed to move from the gate park here in Mehonga to Nyabitava, and you are expecting to see some chameleons, the 3-horned chameleon, which is called the Renaissance chameleon, and the female one, even the Rito chameleon. You know, we have different species, so all those ones I will show you as we move up.
Uganda returns, we prepare for the incredible breathtaking landscape, fresh waters, flora and fauna that make Renzori a unique world heritage. Upwards to our first destination, Nyabitava Camp. It will take us an average of between 5 to 7 hours to get there. Our trek passes through tall elephant grass in the valleys, with shorter grasses and flowering plants on the hill slopes. The guide takes us through the customs to be observed while in the mountains of the moon. Apparently, the mountains have a god called Kasamba, and his wife is called Nyaribuya. There are rules against bathing, whistling, singing, or even pointing fingers while. However, this apply mainly to the Bakonzo. It is said that if the rules are broken, the mountain god gets angry and the weather changes drastically, resulting into heavy downpours. trek continues along River Mubuku and gradually through wild bananas. Incredible flora and fauna, such as the giant ferns and colorful flowers, are a sight for sore eyes. Mountainous forest vegetation, which is characterized by different tree species such as Syphonia globulifera.
And it's a medicinal tree for cholera, stomachache, diarrhea. So in case you have a problem, you just come and then you start chewing it.
We came across the three-horned chameleon, which looks like a miniature triceratops. This species of chameleon is believed to be found only in the Renzori. The female chameleon does not have horns. The females undergo a strange end. They die after giving birth. This is because they literally explode at birth. Any flies that come to the remains become prey to the newly born chameleons. The male, on the other hand, dies of old age. Forward, we meet some trekkers on their way back from Margarita Peak who relate to us their experience on this awesome mountain.
Okay, how many days have you taken up?
8 days.
8?
Yes.
Have you been to the Margarita?
Yes.
How was it?
Exciting!
Would you come back?
Yeah, definitely. Really? Yeah, it's a very nice country. Nice people, nice environment. It's a very good experience.
It was quite misty. It was quite hard to get up, yeah, but I liked it a lot.
Well, it was beautiful and very hard, but we came back. A lot of water, a lot of mud.
Invigorated by the pictures of the highest peak painted by the returning trekkers, we push on with renewed energy. As we go through the forest, we invariably notice that there are very few large trees exceeding 30 meters at this altitude, and in many places the canopy is very broken. The Renzoris are also home to a wide array of bird and animal life. Animals that inhabit the mountains include the rare mountain elephants, chimpanzees, bushbats, leopards, colobus and basset monkeys, sunbirds, and tarantulas. If you are in luck, you might catch a glimpse of the mountains. As we continue trekking through the city jungles and reveling in the wonders of our surroundings, we discover that nature in this area is not as silent as it's made out to be. The air is filled with a variety of sounds, from the screeching of insects, whistling of birds, and the sporadic roar of the mountain rivers, Choco and Mahoma.
Yeah.
After crossing these rivers, we tackle the final climb for the day through open bracken pine slopes and Kodoka Pass forest. Steep climb and halfway we track into Nyamitaba camp. One can see the Porto Peak rising 1,400 feet above sea level. (8,700 feet above sea level), and this is where we spent our first night on the mountains, exhausted but satisfied at that initial achievement.
Next week on Showcase Uganda.
This is NTV.
Welcome to Who We Are. Last week, we looked at how the Eeks, Uganda's lost tribe, survive in the remote hills of Morungle, Kamion and Timo. And today, as we continue to explore and understand this tribe and their tendencies, we focus on their traditional way of life. What makes the Eeks who they are is about culture and traditions. do not have a traditional leader or even regalia. Ever since their leader was killed by a cow's horn, the Eeks have just had elders of households. A culture narration cannot be complete without a chat about love and marriage. The Eeks practice monogamous marriage after a 3-year courtship. In most tribes, paid to the bride's family in form of cows. But since the Eeks gave up cattle herding, they had to find an alternative way of paying bride price. Being a farming community, the groom and his entourage have to work in the fields of his in-laws for the duration of the courtship.
The process, the wife was handed over to my parents. She was sprinkled with some water. She goes to my home where the ceremonies take place. But before she goes, my parents have to kill some animals. The process of eating these animals, the men sit outside, they are served there. Women eat inside the village. And after the men have eaten, they make some prayers, local prayers. The one which says, can God assist us to be giving birth to female children, such that we continue enjoying ourselves like this.
As in most traditional African cultures, the birth of twins is ceremonial, calling for special rites. With the Eeks, these start immediately the woman goes into labor with the expulsion of the husband from the manyata. The cleansing of the husband in order for him to regain entry into the manyata will also involve sprinkling with water.
Nakana kota moyang kanya nakana kota moyang ina ni ngoimina ni no chokati sekwa riedi tsadu ta anotiri ukadi.
The Eeks, though monogamous, have occasions when a polygamous marriage is practiced. If a man dies, his younger brother becomes his heir and so has to take over his entire home, including his wife and children. This is Atum Marco, a brother to Ochen Simon the late. Simon died recently in a Turkana attack. Unlike the Karamajong who just leave the dead in the bushes, the Eeks hold the dead spirits very dearly. Simon was laid to rest somewhere here in the Manyata, but they won't show us where, because they don't want the spirit of the dead to be disturbed. Today, Alice Nangole is being handed over to a tomb at the last funeral rites of Simon Ochen. The rites start with a tomb and his father-in-law slaughtering a he-goat. That is coming up next on Who We Are. The goat is held in an upright position, implying that the husband has to stand firm and perform his duties as a man. As it is laid onto a skin, the father-in-law and a tomb start skinning. After skinning, the fourth chamber of the goat's stomach, the abomasum, is cut open. Using the dung from the stomach, Nangole and her sisters-in-law smear their chests and backs with the dung. By so doing, Nangole reaffirms her acceptance to take a tomb as the husband from today forth. The father-in-law, mother-in-law and other relatives are also smeared with the dung to show that they have accepted Nangole to be a second wife to a tomb. This strange custom is one that can only be understood by the Eeks themselves. Once everybody in the family has been smeared with the dung, the next step is to cook the goat's meat. When the food is ready, it is distributed amongst the family, with the elderly women and men getting the first share.
Pemaran itu di Jaka, kaitini main kotor beni, main kotor sama, ya. Lepas tu kana, nak kau biaya? Kau jadi? Jadi ini tak? Oh, bagi iya, iya, marang iya.
This is the prayer Atum's father-in-law says before winding up the ceremony with a song. The Eeks do not know who lives in the West or what is there. That's why they send all the curses and bad omens to the west. Finally, he sings a song and everybody joins him in the singing and dancing. After a successful handover and last funeral rites, the entire village celebrates and welcomes Nangole into a new life. They dance Ekaro, the Eek traditional dance. All the dances are called Ekaro. The only difference perhaps is in the songs. They can be songs about courtship, marriage, famine, the enemy, to mention but just a few. The dance is similar to the Karamajong's traditional dance because it also involves a series of jumps up and down. Well, now you know that in the far northeastern part of Uganda, perched on the escarpments of the Rift Valley, an Eek tribe truly exists. That's it for this week. Until next week, God bless Uganda. design show. In our stories today, the Impressionism couture. And following in the footsteps of Beethoven. Decorating a home can be exhausting and costly. Professional interior designer Stella Attal gives us tips, tricks and ideas on how to achieve the best in space and form at friendly prices.
Most of the things here are African. I have the tapestry mat. This is an antique piece from Congo. And then this is a normal black material you can find anywhere in town. So what you can do is to get like the local materials, the Western materials, and then just add a piece of African, and then you make everything change. Then we come to my table, a coffee table. I love it so much. It has coffee beans inside, a lot of coffee beans. And then I use that same tapestry mat. And then coins, a lot of coins whenever I travel. All the balance from the coins, I just put them here so that when I start selling it, a few years to come, it's an antique and everyone can gather money to buy it. What inspires me is the African style, the African designs, whereby when I look into the safaris, African safaris, when I travel, I want to stay in an African place so that I can get ideas. I really love to stay in African places. I love the African feel, and I read a lot about Africa and its history. So that's where I get my inspiration from.
A scheme composed of primary colors, that is, red, blue, and yellow, is always popular with children. Here, red and blue are doing the balancing act, while yellow accentuates form.
For the kids' room, you really have to go for the bright colors, bright kid colors. Orange, yellow, red, light blue, all colors, all bright colors for kids can do. You have to make sure most of the things you use are educative. You have to make her a room or him a room where he or she can learn a few things. For the master bedroom, it really depends on someone what they want in. Because most of the rooms, actually when you go to the bedroom, I think the first thing you want is to sleep, to rest. So you need really a peaceful bedroom. You don't need a congested bedroom. You only need your bed, maybe just a table where you keep your key documents, like if you want to make a call, if you want maybe to look into your business cards, and then make like a diary for maybe the following day. That's all.
So if you're decorating your home and have no idea what to do or how to do it, where to start or what direction you should take, here is a few tips.
If someone came and they don't really know what they want, first of all, I would give them samples of maybe the works I've done so far, and give them like books to look into and see the different kind of settings. Then they will come up with a color theme they want for their house. If they don't have, then we have to go to their place. Then I can, according to the setup of the rooms and then the building, it determines really the colors to use, because the brightness of the room also matters a lot when you're choosing the colors.
Okay.
If it's a dark room, you need a warm, cool color that would really, that helps to brighten up the wall. Like if there is no sunshine at all, you could use like a cream, orange, or beige, because those colors, when you put them in, they brighten up the whole place. And then you don't need to put in a lot of things in that room, because if you put in much as you put cream, which is a bright color, and then you put in a lot of things in that room, it's still going to be dark. If it's Indian, shiny, everything, then that one we have to really get rid of it. If it's a simple Western thing, then we have to just use, most of the time we change maybe the color of the walls. We leave maybe like the furniture and the covers, which to remove just a few things and then replace them with an African style. Right now, we're just in the process of trying to get people know about African decoration, trying to force them to appreciate what interior decoration is, to appreciate the beauty of what they have in Africa. So I think like in 5 years to come, we'll really have a good number of people, you know, like 50% of the people at least appreciating African decoration.
Today, we learn about one of the greatest creative minds of the Italian Renaissance. Hugely influential as an artist and sculptor, but also immensely talented as an engineer, scientist, and inventor. Leonardo da Vinci was born on the 15th of April 1442 near the Tuscan town of Vinci. The illegitimate son of a local lawyer was apprenticed to a sculptor and painter, Andrea del Verrocchio, in Florence, Italy. He moved to Milan and worked as an engineer, sculptor, painter, and architect. Da Vinci was in Milan until the city was invaded by the French in 1499. He then returned to Florence. Although this is a graphic representation, no one knows what his studio really looked like, considering that he was both a scientist and artist. However, during his time in Florence, he painted several portraits. Virgin of the Rocks was the first painting executed by Leonardo after he arrived in Milan. Some people claim it shows the Immaculate Conception, while others think it recalls the moment when the infant Christ met Saint John the Baptist. This painting by Leonardo da Vinci was rediscovered in the 19th century and was immediately assumed to be a self-portrait. This sketch and the notes that go with it show how Leonardo understood the proportions of the human body. Each separate part was a simple fraction of the whole. And finally, possibly one of the most famous paintings in the world, the portrait of Mona Lisa, which is referred to as simply the Mona Lisa. Leonardo used a technique of blurring of sharp edges by blending colors to leave the corners of the eye and mouth in shadow. It is this technique that makes the Mona Lisa's expression ambiguous. The portrait has been written about and discussed in countless books and publications. Artists and more recently filmmakers have works from the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa was one of Leonardo's favorite paintings, and he carried it with him until he died. Today, it is regarded as one of the most famous paintings in the world and is visited by thousands of people every year. This picture shows the Leonardo plaque in Amboise. Leonardo is believed to have died of paralysis on the 2nd of May 1519 in Amboise at the age of 67. If all his work had been displayed in an intelligible form, Da Vinci's place as a pioneering artist would have been beyond dispute. African art, textile, patterns, animals, and colorful scenery have inspired many artists all over the world. The fashion industry has also incorporated African impressions in their designs.
A lot of the time, African culture, you know, the culture around us, the music, the people, the vibrancy. As you can see, all our fabrics are very colourful, and that's something that Africa has a lot. If you just look in the marketplace or you look at the vegetation, everything's bright and cheerful.
Ann Musisi, the co-founder of local design house Samaki, explains the coining of the name Samaki.
Samaki is a Swahili word meaning fish, and we chose the symbol of fish because we believe that fish are very much like people. They're all different shapes, different colours, different sizes. They just move in and out of life, and we felt it was a good symbol for fashion. Our fabrics are all unique designs. All those designs are created in-house. Samaki, and as you can see, they're hand screen printed onto cotton fabrics, and then we either sell the fabric plain or we have a ready-to-wear collection. The designs are done, then they're put onto film, a screen is made, and then the process is they're silk screen printed.
This is screen printing. It's a slow process, and it take like half an hour to 1 hour to print one piece. Once I've designed the patterns, sit down and look at them and try to get the character out of the design, what it's expressing exactly. Basing on what's in the pattern, like this has got a lot of X's, which are symbols for kisses, things like that.
After the process of printing, the print is then dried using a fan. Samaki first showcased its collections in 2002 at the Uganda International Fashion Week with 2 totally stunning outfits depicting their house brand.
The very first piece that we created was a dress in the shape of our logo, a fish in red and black, which represented the Samaki brand. And then after that, the second showpiece creation we did was a combination piece of 2 fabrics of this pattern called Feelings, 2 different colours mixed together with matting, mukeka, and it had a very high collar and very elegant sleeves. Normally we can provide fabric for them. They can go and sew it with their own tailors if they want. If they want us to also sew it, we can do that. If they like our fabric and they also want to do a design, we can advise them what colors can suit them, you know, based on their personality, if they want something quiet or if they want something shouting, or if they, depending on how they want it. At the moment we get many people coming for weddings, and people obviously are looking to do more African inspired weddings instead of the traditional white. The bride will have a tiny little part of her dress having the same, and then the dress usually that she changes will feature. As a team we brainstorm ideas, like if we're doing a collection. We have different kinds of collections, obviously, from the ready-to-wear and for those that are appearing on the catwalk, because the catwalk ones are more adventurous, extravagant, and, you know, eye-catching, whereas the ready-to-wear, they're more conservative. People want them for everyday wear, for functions, for office, for parties. So we have the different kinds. So when we meet as a team, we brainstorm the ideas, we think of the colors, the patterns we want to use, and then we look to develop them like that. The great thing about African fashion is that, and that's where we believe Samaki is in that part, that we look to Africa for our inspiration, not necessarily to Western styles or Western models, very thin models. We make clothes for the sizes the real sizes that people are. I think the public are getting more and more interested in fashion in Uganda because there are more and more fashion designers now. I think originally people felt it was beyond their reach, it was too expensive. Even us, they felt our fabric was too expensive. But now we have many, many people coming here because people want something that is different. So I think that there's a growth in the fashion industry now in Uganda. Samaki is a whole team of printers, tailors, designers, people working in the shop. So there's many people that you don't actually see. At the moment, one thing as a small company that we're very keen on doing is building up the skills of our employees and building up the local capacity within our company. And one of the ways that we're doing that is by letting the designers and the people in the shop take on more the shop and creating their own design.
Beethoven was a German composer and pianist regarded as one of the greatest composers in the history of classical music. Beethoven's first music teacher was his father, a musician in the electoral court at Bonn, who apparently was a harsh and unpredictable instructor. Beethoven's career as a composer is usually divided into the early, middle, and later ages. In the early period, he is seen as emulating his great predecessor Mozart, while concurrently exploring new directions and gradually expanding the scope and ambition of his work. Once Beethoven started playing the piano, his talent was evident. "Watch this lad," Mozart said. "Someday, he will force the world to talk about him." The middle period began shortly after Beethoven started to lose his hearing, around the age of 28. Beethoven's late ages began around 1816 and lasted until his death in 1827. His late works are greatly admired. Beethoven suffered through illness for much of his adult life. What hasn't been known is the nature of his illness and what eventually killed him in 1827. It's only recently that a team of scientists confirmed that Ludwig van Beethoven suffered from lead poisoning. Romain Roland described Beethoven's final day.
That day was tragic. There were heavy clouds in the sky. Around 4 or 5 in the afternoon, the murky clouds cast darkness in the entire room. Suddenly, a terrible storm started with blizzard and snow. Thunder made the room shudder, illuminating it with the cast reflection of lightning on snow. Beethoven opened his eyes and with a threatening gesture raised his right arm towards the sky with his fist clenched. The expression of his face was horrifying. His hand fell to the ground. His eyes closed. Beethoven was no more.
Beethoven's casket was followed by 20,000 people, almost the 10th part of Vienna's entire population at that time. Considering the depth and extent of Beethoven's artistic exploration, as well as the composer's success in making himself comprehensible to the widest possible audience, the Austrian-born British musician and writer Hans Keller pronounced Beethoven humanity's greatest mind altogether.
In 1999, before we opened the school, actually it's because of such talent, the likes like Paul, which made us start the idea of opening this school.
Paul's success is a combination of both his inner persona and dedication to the instruments.
Wow, Paul is amazing. When you find him alone, he looks a loner. If you want to get his character, just be near.
Dedication, lots and lots of hours of practice, and a good teacher as well. And at the same time as well, the enthusiasm really to learn, new things every time.
Paul's talent is beyond measure. He is a very quick learner and he can interpret music very.
Seems, to be very good, very good listeners, very good, people who appreciate almost any style of music, So I people and Ugandans have got a very good ear for music, be it of a different style.
To me, is a future international celebrity.
That's it for this edition of the Art and Design Show. Remember, contemporary art challenges us. It broadens our horizons and makes us think beyond the limits of conventional wisdom. Join us next week. Until then, good viewing.
This is NTV.
combination here, y'all. Feel it. The revolution will be televised. Feel me?
Come on. She would shampoos a lot. Several mornings she shampoos my locks. Always have my back, she stand true to that. Real type of loving, thank you for that. Yo, run barefoot without no shoes and socks. Cause she keep herself clean, man, I got catch no rush. And she love me for real, man, I feel have no cash. And any little thing and from a splish, she splash. Yo, all this blinging is like you forgot. Use cheddar as the bait, then you recruit the rat. So we listen couple speech of Martin Luther chat. Dennis Brown, Bob Marley and some super cat. Yo, it seem like she live upside the Duke shop. Cause she don't have a scratch, it's only beauty spot. When one duty start is when one duty stop. 1 9 to 5, 1 5 to 12 o'clock. You see me?
This is NTV.
President Museveni raps police and electoral commission over the handling of electoral violence. Tonight, President Yoweri Museveni ends his silence on electoral violence and speaks out as the Electoral Commission gears up for yet another highly contested by-election in Kasese.
Also tonight, big governmental bringing services closer to the people. Those are some of the questions that linger as government moves to increase the number of districts to above the 130 mark.
It is that part of that story that forms our NTV poll tonight. Be sure to have your say.
Well, it's Wednesday night, the 18th of July 2012, and this is NTV Tonight, coming to you live from the Serena Conference Center here in Kampala.
First, let's take you straight into the rest of tonight's main headlines.
We have the money. Government tables request for 23 new districts.
Also tonight, not properly instituted, new IGG Justice Mulyagonja Kakoza speaks out on challenges facing the inspectorate.
A house divided. Police defies judiciary on orders to reopen land board offices. A very good evening to you once again. Thank you for joining us on NTV Tonight. I am Gabriel Lepeno.
I am Rachel Ironitwe. First tonight, President Yoweri Museveni has lashed out at police and the Electoral Commission over their handling of electoral violence.
His comments come on the heels of reports of voter intimidation and violence at the recently concluded Bukoto South by-election, in which the National Resistance Movement lost to Democratic Party.
The president also questioned the police and the Electoral Commission's role in fighting crime during elections.
Craig Kadodo starts tonight's newscast with that.
More than 600 police officers were deployed in Bukoto South constituency, Lwengo district, ahead of a highly contested by-election last week. Yet reports of electoral malpractice was awash, and more than 20 people were arrested on polling day. Unidentified men in plain clothes, brandishing sticks, were accused of beating up voters, and the police and Electoral Commission are yet to act on it. Now, the President Yoweri Museveni has come out to condemn acts of violence in elections.
Causing a lot of chaos, violence, and I see some of those elements, some of these people trying to bring that type of politics. Even today, intimidation, lies, I see it when we are involved in some of these elections, which must be fought ruthlessly by the authorities concerned, the police, the Electoral Commission. I don't know why they should tolerate anybody.
He also blamed the Electoral Commission for failing to monitor the elections by allowing candidates and parties to ferry in supporters, which he says disrupts polls.
You find people transporting groups from Kampala to go and go in the rural constituency. To do what? What job do you have there? And the Electoral Commission allowed this one to go. They are called Kanyama. They are called Kanyama. Why does the Electoral Commission allow these fellows to move around?
His comments while officiating at the launch of the Movement House Fund come at a time when the Electoral Commission is also gearing up to conduct a by-election in another highly contested constituency in Kasese. Craig Kadoda, NTV.
Now, Local Government Minister Adolf Mwesije has this afternoon tabled a request before Parliament seeking to approve 23 new districts. If passed by Parliament, the number of districts could rise to 135. It will also mean that the number of MPs will rise up to 398. Jingo Francis brings us up to speed with the details.
Local Government Minister Adolf Mwesije will tonight have a good rest after fulfilling President Museveni's pledge of creating new districts. The minister tabled a request of 23 new districts to become operational in annual phases. Kagadi and Kakumiro have been carved out of Kibale and will start operating this financial year. Omoro has been carved out of Gulu. Namisindwa has been carved out of Manafa. Pakwachi has been carved out of Nebi. Butebo has been carved out of Palisa. Luchiga and Rubanda have been carved out of Kabale. Chotera has been carved out of Rakai to become operational in 2013. Chadondo has been carved out of Wakiso. Nabiratuku has been carved out of Nakapiripiriti. Bugweri has been carved out of Iganga. Kasanda has been carved out of Mubende. Bunyangabo has been carved out of Kabarore. Kwania has been carved out of Apache. Kapirabiong has been carved out of Amuria to be operational in 2014. Obongi has been carved out of Moyo. Kazo has been carved out of Kiruhura. Rwampara has been carved out of Mbarara. Kitagwenda has been carved out of Kamwenge. Kikube has been carved out of Hoima. Madiokoro has been carved out of Arua. Kihihi has been carved out of Kanungu to be operational in 2015.
It is the best day for me. And when you look at service delivery in my district, has been very, very poor.
I have to make a decision. The law is very clear. The incumbent decides where to go. We shall cross the bridge when we reach there.
The creation of 23 more districts raises a number to 135. This in turn will raise the number of MPs to 398.
Why should they create 11 districts from Western, 3 from Central, 3 from Eastern, and 3 from Northern? What criteria were they using?
Critics argue that creating more districts raises more burden to the public expenditure, even when government claims this will bring services closer to Ugandans.
2 districts which will start 1st July this year, their money is in the budget. You can read the budget, the money is there.
Personally, I'm not in support of this itemization of districts and the administrative machinery. At the end of the day, there's nothing on the ground. Look at Kenya. Kenya has a bigger population than us. Look at the size of their parliament. Their size of parliament is half that of Uganda. And yet the economy of Kenya is much wider than ours.
I want to assure you that there is excessive bleeding of government funds through corruption. Where did they get money to give Basaja Baraba 142 billion? One person like this.
Minister Mwesige also says 2 more districts will be carved out of Kasese to create Bwera and Renzori after consultations. Deputy Speaker Jacob Olanya committed the request to the local government committee until 26th this month, when Parliament is expected to pass the new districts. Jingo Francis, NTV Parliament.
Well, it's on this issue that we'd like to hear from you on tonight's NTV poll, and so we ask, do you think government has the capacity to sustain new districts? Do you think government has the capacity to sustain new districts?
Also have your say, text your yes or no contribution to 8778. Please do remember to include your name and where you are texting from. And we shall be reading some of those comments during tonight's newscast and some more at the tail end of the news. Well, newly sworn-in Inspector General of Government, Justice Irene Mulyagonja Kakoza, this morning gave her maiden address to the media, and it was an itinerary of the setbacks she already has on her plate. The office is not properly instituted and could curtail her efforts to fighting corruption. Her admission comes at a time when the office of the IGG faces criticism for not doing enough to fight the vice. Josephine Karunji reports.
Sworn in on the 5th of July this year, the new IGG has the stride of confidence, even with the knowledge that she holds one of the most closely watched positions, and she has already singled out the limitations to improving the work of the inspectorate. The inspectorate is not fully constituted. It has an IGG and 1 deputy. Without a substantive second deputy, the inspectorate cannot operate without its decisions being challenged. The Leadership Tribunal is not yet in place, and this limits the implementation of the Leadership Code Act. The Inspectorate does not have a corporate status and can therefore not take independent civil action. And of course, the high levels of corruption starting from the grassroots. And while the Inspectorate would like to do its best to investigate and prosecute, they need the support of the public.
Because if I am going to gather evidence about leaders who have illegally acquired assets, the best person to tell me about what the leaders have acquired is the public.
But this same public is the same one accusing the IGG of selectively prosecuting people, leaving the prominent persons to go scot-free and concentrating on the ordinary man. The IGG says this is the wrong perception.
The decision does not just depend on whether the public perceives these people to have engaged in corrupt practices. It depends on the evidence that is on the record, on the file of either the DPP or the Inspectorate of Government, whether to prosecute or not to prosecute.
On whether the Inspectorate's office is in position to declare leaders' assets, the IGG says her office does not have the mandate to do so. This office should have an immediate supervisor, that is the Parliament. The Constitution mandates the Inspectorate to make periodic reports to Parliament, but they claim there has been no feedback from Parliament on their operations.
There is no way Parliament can know what we are doing as an institution unless they look at our reports and say something. At least, acknowledge that money has been spent by this institution.
The IGG's office has, however, admitted to being under investigation over the use of money given to facilitate the investigation of the Chogam scandal and also over land bought to construct an office of the Inspectorate. They await the decision of the DPP on the way forward. Josephine Karunji, NTV.
Next tonight, and there could be legal repercussions if the police and the office of the Executive Director at Kampala Capital City Authority, if they fail to heed court orders to reopen Kampala Land Board offices. The judiciary's directive was concurred with during a council meeting chaired by Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago, during which it was agreed that the board be allowed to resume its work without delay. However, despite this, police has continued to pitch camp at the offices, saying investigations of alleged fraud by the board are still ongoing, prompting today's warning.
Last week, the appeals court ordered that the disbanded Kampala Land Board be reinstated and their offices opened to allow it continue executing its duties, saying that police's presence at the Land Board offices was illegal. This was in addition to a KCCA council sitting resolution on Monday that backed the resumption of work by the board. However, no sooner had city councillors broken the locks and handed back the board offices to its chairman Yusuf Nsibambi than police, called in by KCCA officials, stormed and deployed at the facility. The police say there is still evidence in the office that could aid them uncover alleged fraud by officials at the city land body and therefore still deem it necessary to remain there.
So there is evidence contained therein, and until that evidence is gathered and until it is cleared as a scene free from crime, it has to be closed.
However, judiciary spokesman Elias Chisauzi has warned that there will be consequences for all those who disregard court's directives.
They are issued for a purpose, and there is no choice. Whether you are dissatisfied with a court order, you have to respect the order and follow. And those who defy or continue to defy the order, whether security agents or otherwise, they should know, they should be warned that the consequences are bitter.
Kampala Deputy Lord Mayor Suleiman Chidandala says it is important that the identities of those behind efforts to keep the land board offices closed be known.
We are not sure who is the complainant, who thinks is aggrieved by the activities of this office or its management, and up to now we continue to see deployment and the office is sealed off.
When NTV tried to get a response from the office of the Executive Director, officials there declined to comment, saying the matter is in the hands of police. Now, the month of Ramadan, in which Muslims fast from dawn to sunset, could start soon. The Director of Sharia at the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Sheikh Hussein Rajab Kakoza, says the Muslim community should be on the lookout for the first sighting of the moon in the following days. Now, his message to Muslims was delivered by the spokesperson of the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Nsereko Mutumba.
The statement issued today by the Director of Sharia, Sheikh Hussein Rajab Kakoza of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, he has requested all Muslims in Uganda to look out for the moon should the moon be sighted on that very day, that Saturday, fasting will start on Friday.
We're now going to take a short break. There's still so much more ahead on NTV tonight, and here is what you can expect.
Gruesome murder, body discovered in a bush near Banda. 2 other men escape with serious injuries.
And on NTV Connect this week, a trip to the Masai market in the heart of Kenya's capital, Nairobi.
NTV Tonight returns after a few moments. See you shortly.
This is NTV.
Ideally, we all have the right to express our opinions and views truthfully and openly.
Tugenda katongole mbukasam.
Kampala the discussion is still going on in the bus.
Tulina okugumira challenges ezimu bwe tuba tulina okugoba abatembeeyi mwami lukwaga agumaga abatembeeyi mugende mbadde ndala kunyonyola omwami yagambye nti meya lukwago ye meya omutuufu
gavumenti ekutte lukwago emunyigira mu nsonda takyekyusa.
Welcome back to minibus kyogereko.
Singa omusajja abankwana nga njagala sifa ku kya ssente wabula nfa ku mbeera yeyisa
alimba ono
This is minibus
Kyogereko.
This is NTV.
Welcome back. You're watching NTV Tonight. We start with a reminder of our NTV poll question and some of your responses. Tonight we ask, do you think government has the capacity to sustain new districts? Do you think government has the capacity to sustain new districts?
Well, to have your say, text your yes or no comment or contribution to 8778. Please do include your name and where you are contributing from. Let's now take a look at some of your comments so far.
All right, we've got Kansime Greens in Nyabushozi saying, yes, decentralization is to bring services nearer to the people, so it's imperative to create more districts.
Okay, Geoffrey Kawuju, you say, no, government should concentrate on development of regions rather than dividing Uganda into what you say are paddocks. Well, this is how our tentative poll result stands thus. 15% of our respondents so far are saying yes, it's good to have more districts added to the ones that we already have right now, while 85% of you disagree.
All right, there's still time for you to have your say. The number once again is 8778. We'll be sure to read some more of your views at the very end of tonight's newscast.
Indeed. Moving on, after spending nearly 2 days undiscovered, a man identified by police as Richard Givura has this evening been found dead in Banda in a bush by the roadside.
Not far from his corpse were 2 other men who also spent the night there in pain after being badly beaten up.
Police say that the deceased was known to them and had just been released from Luzira prison.
Residents allege that the other two could have been riding together on a motorbike.
Well, the latest incident has only heightened security concerns further in the area.
Florence Naluyimba reports.
With his release papers from prison in hand, Richard Givuru was found dead, murdered here in Banda, never to enjoy his newly regained freedom.
He's known by officers. He has been a habitual offender.
A few meters apart from his body were two other men nearly beaten to death.
For treatment.
Nze ndabye kuwawali wali yagambye yabadde wa boda sima bamujje kireka bwe yatuusaawo yagambye yakumye okumanya nga ali awo nti yabadde n'omusaabaze kati omusaabaze ne bamubuuza omusaabaze ati yalaze nti omusaabaze simanyi tumubuuza ati oli ali ekyengulu ng'agamba nti oba ayinza okuba yeye.
The grass layout shows that there was a struggle with their assailants. What has puzzled most of the residents is the fact that these men went unnoticed since late Tuesday evening, yet they were within their range. The three men have been discovered this evening.
We are trying to establish circumstances under which they died, because so far nobody knows them here.
What worries most of these residents is the fact that people have over time been killed and disposed of here, a place which is near the police station and the main road. As can be seen, it is quite a busy road with motorists and pedestrians always passing by. A few meters up where you see this mast is the police station. Some residents say that they could have been seen earlier, but since some workers opposite the road who used to trek these paths to go search for food stopped working, this became hard. Now the people are demanding police protection because the security light in this area has not been working for long now.
The police station which is around here should provide some police officers to be patrolling around this area.
Yandi parkinzenga awali enzikiza kifo ky'okuparkinga mu masanyalaze.
The residents also say that if this place were to be developed, there would be less acts of murder or hiding of corpses. Florence Nalimba, NTV.
Now, a top official from the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, Jeff Crisp, says their agency will make efforts to mobilize resources from foreign donors to support Uganda manage the influx of refugees from the DRC's border town of Bunagana. Jeff Crisp made the disclosure on the sidelines of a roundtable discussion about a new UNHCR policy of dealing with refugees in urban areas.
A number of local and international agencies that support refugees attended the roundtable discussion on the UNHCR policy that accords more rights to refugees living in urban centers than was previously the case. The policy that rose from the 1951 Convention on Refugees stresses the rights of refugees to live in cities and receive equal services like education, healthcare, and job opportunities from their host nations.
And so we have to amend the way we do business in order to provide assistance to them.
Most African refugees running from conflicts in their home countries end up living in camps with very poor services. Just recently, top officials from the Office of the Prime Minister said the refugees from the eastern DRC town of Bunagana were stretching their resources. The UNHCR's policy expert, Jeff Crisp, says the UN agency will consider mobilizing resources for Uganda.
I haven't visited the place myself, but 2 or 3 of my colleagues were there yesterday to examine the situation, to assess the needs, and UNHCR will certainly be approaching the international community to see what support we can mobilize to enable you to support your efforts to assist the new arrivals.
Millions of refugees are being hosted in developing countries that find it difficult to provide services for their own nationals. It's hoped that the new policy will provide dignity and better living conditions for refugees around the world. Chris Sochamringa, NTV.
And now to a look at other stories making news across the country tonight.
President Yoweri Museveni has boosted the Movement House Fund by raising over 2 billion shillings from excited members who attended the launch ceremony last evening. He pledged 200 million towards the fund, which he said he will pay over time. The money was raised at a dinner organized by the newly inaugurated NRM Finance Commission, led by Party Treasurer Amelia Chambade, who is also the Minister for Trade. The Movement House will be a 27-storied building in honor of the 27 armed men who started the Bush War struggle. It will also be 27 years next year of the NRM rule in Uganda.
On the eve of independence, we had 3 sectarian parties, causing a lot of chaos, violence, and I see some of those elements, some of these people trying to bring that type of politics, intimidation, lies. I see it when we are involved in some of these elections, which must be fought ruthlessly by the authorities concerned, the police, the Electoral Commission. I don't know why they should tolerate anybody.
Meanwhile, police in Mityana have arrested a woman who allegedly tortured her nephew. Witnesses say 30-year-old Annette Narumansi, who was looking after her late sister's son, Yuda Sebunya, often beat and locked him up in the house. When questioned about her acts, Narumansi said her nephew had refused to take his antiretroviral drugs. He was found with scratches and wounds all over his body. Police has since taken the child to receive medical attention.
Treatment, nothing, until we had some information and we framed the child yesterday. We also arrested her. She is there. We are preparing to take her to court.
Now, Kenya may be home to various tourist sites and features, but the Masai market experience will certainly stand out. Held daily in the capital, Nairobi, the Masai markets will leave an indelible mark for their unique and truly African crafts and mementos. The open-air market, which rotates between different locations in and around Nairobi, is popular with both tourists and locals. Here's Maurice Mugisha's experience at the Masai market at one of its locations in the city center.
The Masai market, right in the heart of Kenya's capital, has become a tourist attraction that continues to expand, especially in Nairobi. Visitors looking to buy memorable, authentic African mementos from Kenya or return with gifts for their friends and family back home can count on a varied selection and exciting experience of haggling at these markets.
How much? That one I give you 1,000. Let me how much is a negotiable price. How much? This 1,000. This is 800. How much do you want to have all of them?
Masai markets in Nairobi were started by Masai women who wanted to sell directly to visitors. The markets have blossomed over the years.
The idea of the Masai market actually originated from the mothers who used to make kiondos, the Masai jewelry, and they came together. They used to supply the Murumbi shop at the city center. From there, he got enough supply. After supplying him, we could arrange our things outside his shop near the city market. Then we were moved to the GPO.
The vibrant Masai market in Nairobi, a true festival of color and form, offers an opportunity for handicraft shoppers to buy some of the rich collection of African arts and crafts at reasonably low prices. It is an open-air market that attracts throngs of locals and tourists alike, looking for unique handicrafts to adorn their homes, themselves, or as gifts to friends and family.
Last year my friend came to safari to Kenya and he knew the shop existed over here. So he told me that we can go to the Tuesday market, get good stuff over here, and we found really good stuff, cheap stuff.
Colorful kikois, curios, baskets, beadworks and many other interesting African handicrafts all vie for the customer's eye, with over 100 traders doing their best to entice you. After making their selection, buyers will often be seen bargaining for a discount, a practice that is standard and expected here. Demand for their handicraft has seen traditional Masai jewelry transform into an amazing contemporary fashion statement for both locals and tourists. The bracelets, earrings, necklaces, rings, and plenty more accessories are handcrafted with intricate beadwork, bone, copper, wood, and other locally available resources. The items are made by traders and therefore quite affordable, at the same time unique. The traders usually continue to work as they sell. The collection of handicraft has grown to include items such as batik, kikoi, and kanga clothing, beaded leather sandals and belts, wooden utensils decorated with bone or beads, and an assortment of home decoration pieces such as wall hangings, statues, throws, and more. Like the people themselves, the market is nomadic and moves to different venues around Nairobi each day.
We would have loved to be in one stationed place, but you get, it has been a hard need for us because the government has not been able to define a place for the market. And now, because the theme of the Masai market, you know, Masais are nomadic, and our people sometimes prefer moving around, although we used to have one market weekly. But you get that the people with malls, they erupted, they started building markets, saying that they want us to go there to promote their malls. And that's when we started moving around from one place to the other.
For a wonderful selection of arts and crafts, wooden carvings and beadwork, you can't go wrong at the Nairobi Masai market.
Hundreds, if not thousands of tourists and locals do throng the Masai market to grab some of Africa's finest art pieces. And plus to that is that they will meet the actual crafters of these products here, which makes their products cheaper and extremely competitive. Maurice Mugisha at the Masai market in Nairobi.
Yes, welcome.
Maurice Mugisha and Nairobi's Masai market experience. Well, up next is NTV Business with Malcolm Musima. Let's just find out what he has in store for us. Malcolm.
Thank you, Gabriel and Rachel. We have always known sorghum as a crop that is used for beer production. Yeah, now there's something new.
Well, what's it going to be used for?
You probably maybe find yourself eating it or doing something else with it. That's something new coming up.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. This is NTV Business for tonight, and we'll be bringing you details on that and the new crop of sorghum crop variety that can be used to enhance production in different households. All that is coming up in Business Night, so just don't go away.
This is NTV.
Kwene embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakugwamu mama
bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale
sogera byange kibanza bana bagambanga ne bagamba bweyagala nkubulira ebyange ja tugende emyanzi
mpulira abanyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinansi South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu
baba banjerega oyo mufere mubbi yennyini yeetaaga miggo
omuntu wa bulijjo tomuzannyirangako abeeranga dormant volcano
bwemba mukkiriza nina takuwa mugiyita
ate takuwa gobeera mugoberezi tolowooza nti buli mulimo gwonna oyogerera omusiraamu singa naakubuuza nti katonda yagamba bw'ati yagamba atya
oba oli pasita ng'okyawa olimba obba oyenda olina abakazi basatu please heaven is waiting for you. One day you'll pay, and soon your time is out.
Otisa moni.
Sitisa. Nkubulira Yesu talimba.
Ebintu mbimala mulundi gumu. Kati what is I love this.
Era y'abasajja bano.
Essuubi nga lyakugwamu mama.
Bano abasajja era y'abasajja bano.
Essuubi nga lyakugwamu mama.
Bano abasajja era y'abasajja bano.
Essuubi nga lyakugwamu mama.
Bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale
sogera byange kibanza bana bagambanga ne bagamba bweyagala nkubulira ebyange ja tugende emyanzi
mpulira abanyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinansi South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu
Welcome to NTV Business Tonight. My name is Malcolm Sime, and in order to reap from the prospective oil industry, Uganda's insurance players have formed a consortium to collectively handle the needs of oil sectors where oil companies could be inclined to source all the insurance needs from elsewhere. The chairman of the insurance regulator, Lubega Kadunabi, says this position should be embedded in the oil laws now in the offing. Samuel Setumba reports.
Not by lobbying only, but also by law, do insurance companies in Uganda intend to have some business in insuring the oil sector. Appearing before the parliamentary committee handling the oil bills, the chairman of the insurance regulatory body pointed out the sector approach.
We have engaged the local insurers, and they are coming up with a syndicate. And with a syndicate, which is the most viable way of insuring petroleum risks now, we can cover a portion of the risk, and the rest will be reinsured using the reinsurance treaties.
But the big oil players could choose to ignore the local insurance players unless injunction is declared by law.
Adequate insurance should be a precondition to licensing. And we are also proposing that insurance of the environment should also be one of the preconditions of licensing, so that, as we noted in the Gulf of Mexico, what happened.
For any local players who intend to have a part of the oil sector, proactive deliberate actions are needed, because the scramble by all means includes people from elsewhere who shall grab opportunity. After all, Uganda is a free market. Samuel Setumba, NTV Business.
Now, Makerere University and the National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO, have unveiled a new sorghum variety which experts say will transform the crop from being only for human consumption to animal feed. Makerere University's Professor Patrick Okori says in addition to the new commercial sorghum for beer production, this new variety should help expand household incomes.
This community in the Teso sub-region are dancing away to the unveiling of yet a new sorghum variety, which experts insist should enable the farmers widen their income base.
Fish feeds, poultry feeds, pig feeds, this is the type you'll use. That type will basically be for human consumption.
A result of a 5-year intensive research between Makerere University and the National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO, the scientists are emphasizing that this new type of sorghum will strengthen agribusiness.
But as scientists of the country, we have to look beyond what the farmers are saying. We also are promoting the white one and telling them, yes, this white one can give you money if we connect you to value addition and so on and so forth.
In addition to maize, a common crop across many farming communities, it's now anticipated that this latest variety of sorghum would retain household food security and raise farmer participation in research findings.
So at this site here, we have experiments to allow farmers to select. Now from next year onwards, we are going to give these farmers the seed next season. So the reason we have bagged them like this is to prevent pollination.
With a quick 12-week maturity period against 16 weeks for the old types, it's also hoped that it will aid farmers move into large-scale production to meet growing internal and external markets for cereals.
Now a look at the financial markets. Only the Uganda Clays counter registered price movement downwards, while all the other counters, local and cross-listed, kept their prices stable from yesterday. This saw all share index move by just over a quarter and a point in today's trading. Details of this next in the financial report.
Financial report is brought to you by URA, developing Uganda together.
All vehicles are required to revalidate their registration using our new online module and get a new logbook. All newly imported vehicles will also be registered online using this new online module. Get out of the line and get online.
Finally, in NTV Business, the cost of moving cargo from the port of Mombasa to various destinations in Kenya and other countries in the East African Community member states could drastically go down. This follows the arrival of assorted equipment for rail lines in Kenya and Uganda. Here is more on that development as filed by NTV's Abe Agina.
With an ever-increasing population, demand for basic commodities has continued to grow by the day in almost all countries in the East African region. And although Kenya continues to remain the leading exporter of goods in East Africa, the cost and time for transporting cargo has made it more expensive to do business in the region, especially for landlocked countries. A case in point is trade between Kenya and Uganda, which imports nearly 70% of its cargo through the port of Mombasa. This in essence sees a great percentage of cargo moved via road in the absence of a reliable railway line system, a pattern the Kenya government wants to correct.
The arrival of the permanent way materials for the construction of the needed lines, and the Managing Director KRC has already talked about the airport line, is a demonstration of the government's commitment to reduce the commuting time and cost between JKIA and Nairobi Central Business District.
The materials worth $4 million were offloaded at the port of Mombasa on Thursday.
That we are going to have a completely revitalized transport system, transport network that is aimed at delivering on your requirements so that we have an efficient, well-costed transport system that can facilitate business.
Part of the materials received will go towards the reconstruction of 9 culverts in the section between Tororo and Busembatia in Uganda. The other part of the consignment will go towards construction of a 6.5 kilometer section of track for the commuter rail between the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to the Central Business District in Nairobi.
If the railway offtake just improved by about 20%, 30%, that would have doubled our entire capacity in the port.
With Uganda readying itself to rebuild its rail infrastructure, the country will be able to save nearly half of what it spends on moving cargo from Kenya via road to Uganda through rail. The turnaround program undertaken by the Rift Valley Railways will be a key milestone in decongesting the port and providing a link to trade in Eastern Africa. Recently, RVR commissioned another project for the Busembatia to Jinja line in eastern Uganda at a cost of $4.9 million that is expected to be completed by December this year, which will also include locomotive and wagon rehabilitation in Kenya and Uganda. Construction of the line will be bolstered by the military wing of the Ugandan government, which has been undergoing training on how to construct a railway line. The move will improve transit times as line speeds will increase from the current 25 to 30 kilometers per hour to 70 kilometers. Abegina, NTV.
Unplug electronic equipment that's not in use. And that winds up NTV Business for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be taking you back to Gabriel and Rachel.
Thank you very much, Malcolm. We're now joined by Joel Kamadi, who is standing by to bring us the very latest in NTV Sport. Joel.
Thank you very much. Now, the price of entry tickets to watch a football match at Nambole Stadium has gone up. The pavilion ticket is now 22,000 shillings, up from 20,000 shillings. Find out why in NTV Sport up next.
This is NTV.
Good evening and welcome to NTV Sport. I am Joel Kamadi. Now, the price of entry tickets to watch a football match at Nambole Stadium has gone up. The pavilion ticket is now at 22,000 shillings, up from 20,000 shillings. The new ticket prices were announced today at a press conference held by the FUFA Chief Executive Edgar Watson at the FUFA headquarters in Mengo. Meanwhile, Uganda's under-20 national football team, the Hippos, will do without the services of Moses Oloya as they face the Black Satellites of Ghana in the African qualifier to be played later this month in Kampala.
The price of entry tickets to watch a football match has gone up. The pavilion ticket is now at 22,000 shillings, up from 20,000 shillings, while the stand ticket holders will have to add another 900 to the previous 5,000 shillings. The new ticket prices were announced today at a press conference held by the FUFA executive Edgar Watson at the FUFA head offices in Mengo. He explained why the fees were hiked.
So recently, FUFA was registered as a VAT compliant association or organization, and therefore it meant that now in whatever price that we put on, a VAT element has to come in.
Stadium was not selling the tickets, so the revenue was for the stadium. So URA was charging the stadium, not the URA company. Now they have changed that. Now that we are selling them as FUFA, so we just give stadium its own portion. That's why now we have to include that VAT coverage now.
Meanwhile, Uganda's under-20 national football team, the Hippos, will do without Moses Oloya as they face the Black Satellites of Ghana in the Africa qualifier to be played later this month in Kampala. Cynthia Asio, NTV Sport.
Moving on, Uganda Super League and FUFA officials have finally agreed on a common date for the 2012-2013 season kickoff, but clubs and coaches will have to meet set standards before taking part in the competitions, as Alfred Odong reports.
Controversy over the kickoff of the 2012-2013 Uganda Super League has been put to rest, with the USL and FUFA agreeing on the 14th of September, contrary to earlier communications where the managers were advocating for the 24th of August.
I would like to confirm from the side of the Uganda Super League as well that yes, it is true we have agreed by consensus on a date of the 14th of September.
We are going to meet with the competitions committee of the federation, align on the dates and with the different activities that the federation does control.
The task has, however, been put on each club to have a medical team, physical address as well as a constitution. All coaches intending to manage Uganda Super and Big League teams have been called to attend a CAF licensee course to run for 2 weeks in August.
Coaches who will not do this course will not be eligible to coach in the Super League or the Big League thereafter, or any national teams. They will not be eligible to be selected unless they have a UEFA license that has been verified by FUFA.
And therefore it is binding on everyone, all officials, all officers of Uganda Super League and all clubs. Anybody who goes against what is agreed by the Uganda Super League will have to be put on the side.
Uganda Super League and FUFA officials have finally agreed on the season kicking off on the 14th of September. They are now working to ensure that clubs meet the minimum standards of having grounds and licensed players. Alfred Odong, NTV Sport.
Finally, in NTV Sport, the construction of the multi-million rugby complex in Mbale is set to resume after organizers made a move to secure the lease of the contested piece of land from the land board. In recent weeks, there have been clashes between the complex owners and encroachers over the land on which the complex is to be built. However, despite of the land wrangles, the scheduled games organized by Mbale Elephants for the Mount Elgon Rugby Sevens competitions were held and attracted 9 teams from Jinja and Kampala.
Of course, this is going to be a repetitive tournament that's going to be there every year around the same time. We shall be hosting Mount Elgon Sevens every year on these very grounds. This is also a bid of getting the public picture that we are now officially settled in our home ground, and all the support that we can get from the community is very welcomed at this time. The actual construction work is we are waiting because, as you are aware, we lost out on the England counties being here, so the donors also retreated a bit. But now that we have the lease, the England counties are reorganizing to be with us here next season, that is next year. So we are hoping that the construction works will take off as soon as we forward to them that we now have a lease to this land.
Now, just before we leave you, in the ongoing Kagame Cup in Dar es Salaam, URA beat Vita of Congo 3-1 to progress to the next stage. We'll be giving you that story later on in our subsequent bulletin. That's it from Sport. Back to you.
Thank you, Joel Kamadi. Let's now have a look at the weather forecast for Thursday.
Now, before we wrap up tonight's newscast, let's quickly take you back to tonight's NTV poll. And we asked, do you think government has the capacity to sustain new districts?
Well, the final poll result for tonight is out. 19% of our respondents are saying yes, while 81% of you tonight say no.
Thank you so much for all your responses tonight. Let's quickly sample a few of them. We have Presido Izo in Mbale saying, no, if the current districts can sustain themselves, what will happen to the new ones? Let's be objective.
And meanwhile, Simon Busiku, you say, I do not think so. And you give a reason to back up your reason. You give an example, rather, to back up your reason. You say our budget is so strained. An example, the universal secondary education schools have not received funds for this term yet.
And Martha in Kapchora saying, no, if we can't handle the few districts that we have, how then can we handle new ones?
Akanjuna Wilbur, you say adding a problem to another doesn't mean that it is solved. Government should first extend services to the already existing districts.
Thank you once again for all your responses. That concludes NTV Tonight. Gabriel will return later on with tonight's NTV Late Night for a final look at the day's stories.
But for now, from all of us, it's thank you for watching NTV Tonight, and do have yourselves a good night. Bye-bye.
This is NTV.